Let's get an update from our transfer reporter, Ben Jacobs. A lot of West Ham fans. They'll be feeling a lot happier today after that 3-0 win at Forest, no doubt about that. They'd like to see one or two more in through the door, though, I would imagine, Ben. Any sign of that happening?
Yeah, I think West Ham are going to be very busy in the course of the next few hours. The good news is that Lucas Paquetá is expected to stay. You will have seen his goal celebration yesterday, chucking away a phone that he made with his hand and then kissing the West Ham badge. Naif Agard, though, looks like being on the way out. He's joining Marseille, we understand, for a fee of around £17 million. Now, Graham Potter wanted to keep the player, but Agard refused to play in that excellent 3-0 win over Nottingham Forest on Sunday. So West Ham will seek a replacement if that deal is finalised. And the young defender at Toulouse, Charlie Cresswell, ex-Leeds United, is one to watch. So I think West Ham are going to have outgoings and incomings to try and back Graham Potter. And even though Mateus Fernandes was excellent and a good signing for them, he still wants some more legs in the centre of the park.
Charlie Cresswell, by the way, excellent for the under-21s, in the Euros, wasn't he? I was one of the standout players for me. We keep going back, don't we, to Mark Guéhi. Is it on? Is it off? What's the latest?
Yeah, I think there is some encouragement from the perspective of Liverpool. So we started this morning thinking that the deal might be a little bit difficult because yesterday the manager, Oliver Glasner, had gone to Steve Parish and said, I want to keep this player, let him leave on a free transfer. That's better for our season, as opposed to taking between 35 and 40 million. But in the last kind of half an hour or so, there's been a surprise approach from Crystal Palace to Brighton to sign Igor Julio on what we understand to be a season-long loan, another player that is being looked at today by West Ham United. And personal terms are not thought to be a problem. So if Palace get that one over the line, even though we think it will only be a temporary deal, it might give a little bit of encouragement for Liverpool to come back in for Mark Guéhi. Still not a guarantee that that deal happens, but the Guéhi deal not off, and I would keep an eye on it right until the final minutes of the window.
Yeah, Igor Julio, when he was in the Brighton side, a lot of fans liked him a lot, by the way. Just finally, Ben, just before you dash off, we're going to talk Newcastle in a moment. Any sign of any more incomings for them?
Yeah, I think Newcastle will be alert to a second attacker. We know that Alexander Isak has left. A reminder, British transfer record, £125 million. No add-ons. Newcastle will bill it as 130 million due to solidarity, but Liverpool are only paying 125 million. So then who could come in? Well, Jorgen Strand Larsen is expected to stay at Wolves, barring any surprises, even though he's keen on a move to Newcastle. Let's see if they test Wolves' resolve in the final hours of the window. Johan Wissel wants the move to Newcastle United, but Brentford would need another attacker to come in if that deal is to happen. And of course, Nico Jackson is a really interesting story. Liverpool have looked. Bayern had the deal done on a loan with a buy option. Chelsea pulled the plug after the injury to Liam Delap. Maybe Bayern will still try and come in and sign him permanently. Newcastle might make a move because they've got 65 million still to burn, some pocket change even after adding Nick Voltemada because of that Isak fee. So attackers and Newcastle are going to be a big story. Let's see if they add a second one now Isak is departing.
Ben, thanks very much indeed.
Thanks,
Newcastle
Ben.
at the forefront of many deals potentially. Let's get some reaction to it all from a former Newcastle United star. It's a very good morning to Lee Clark. Morning, Clarky.
Morning, Clarky.
Morning, Jeff. Morning, Ali.
So look, let's touch on Isak first of all, Lee. Are most Newcastle fans glad this is all over? Glad to see the back of him?
Absolutely, Jeff. Absolutely. Great news this morning that the deal eventually being done means that Eddie doesn't have to talk about him anymore. We don't have to worry about his behaviour, and we can just move on and hopefully get another striker in before 7 p.m. tonight, and it means that we've had a terrific window.
I think you're right, Clark. That's what I'm looking at. Obviously, Voltemada's come in from Stuttgart, Alanga, Ramsey, people like that. But I take your point with Callum Wilson going as well as Isak. I think you need another one as well, mate.
We absolutely do, Ali. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. When Callum went, we needed one, and then when the Isak bombshell came about, we needed two. And we've got one in Voltemade, who, by the way, is going to be a terrific signing. I see it because of his natural ability in any way, but we've got one of the best coaches at developing young players as well. So there's no ceiling to what he can do. and then do we go and get Visser or Larson, and hopefully we can get one over the line before the deadline shuts tonight.
Which one would you prefer, Clarky, if you're given an option, mate?
I like Visser. But
Yeah,
I've got to say, I'm not a hypocrite. I don't condone his behaviour either. He's done the same to Brentford as what Isak's done to us. I think we'll have to learn from this window, the football authorities, whether FIFA, UEFA, the Football Association, and say there's got to be something put in place if players start behaving like this. Can we freeze their contracts until something's sorted? Because this is just setting an example to football at all levels. You'll be getting players at all levels starting to do this, and it leaves a bad taste because Isak, 20, 30 years down the line could have come back to St. James's Park a hero, forever, remembered, forever loved. What will be remembered about him now is his behaviour in the last month or so.
If you do manage to bring a striker in, then Lee, would you actually say that Newcastle, despite the departure of Isak, are Newcastle in a better position now than they were before, the transfer window opened?
Absolutely, Jeff. Stronger window. Ramsdale, goalkeeper. Chow, centre-back. Ramsey, centre midfield. Elanga, wide area. Voltamade as a striker. Hopefully another attacker, stroke striker coming in. For me, a much stronger squad when the window's closed than when the window opened, without a shadow of a doubt.
Clarky, what about Sunderland, mate? There's all sorts of claims that normal business has resumed in the northeast with Sunderland.
You're buzzing, Ali, aren't you? You're buzzing. Hey, they say, by the way, in the new club, your home form's crucial about staying up, and their home form just is absolutely exceptional.
Exactly.
I've heard the manager's quotes after the 2 home games, and he says the fans have drove them on, and that'll be the key. That's the key for all the promoted teams, your home form, and they've had a brilliant start. And we talked about it the other week when I was on with you, Ali. Fair play to Sunderland. They've given a right good go in the transfer market. They've went out and trying to strengthen the squad in all areas, in terms of depth, in terms of quality. And I'm for all the northeast. I want Middlesbrough. Rob Edwards has got Middlesbrough top of the table. Get them in the Premier League. Come on, let's get all the north clubs doing well. Get Hartlepool back in the Football League. Get me mate at Darlington to get them promoted. Get them all done. Let's get the northeast.
I'm with you, mate.
Again.
Well, I'm certainly with you, Lee. Certainly with you, mate. Hey, look, brilliant to talk to you, Lee.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Have a great day, mate.
Fantastic stuff. I just want to touch on Joe again, who sent us sent me a very touching text and a worrying text a moment or two ago. Joe, if you're listening, honestly, our listeners are all right behind you. We've had texts from so many people, including Ben and Carl, Josh, Greg, another Ben, all saying, be tough, mate, and make sure you're listening tomorrow. It is 9:29. Coming up, I'll be telling you which teams I think need to do some business today before the window closes at 7. Jim White's up next as he's working overtime today. Not 1, but 2 shows, because, of course, it's deadline day. That's next.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.